As you know, I am your English teacher and today I want to teach you about the Fog poem. Fog is a very short poem by the American poet Carl Sandburg, published in 1916 in his first major poetry collection, Chicago Poems. Fog is a very small poem written by Carl Sandburg. I have told you already. He has described the process of arrival of fog into a city and the harbor. He has very beautiful comparison it with a cat. According to the poem, the onset of fog is likening to appearance of a sitting gray. Blink that covered the city and my flies sound to produce an of sensation of calm and silence. The poem addresses the notion. The fog has the power to change the familiar into the foreign and to hide the world's reality. The poem emphasizes how nature may change us and how it affects our sense and emotions. This is the overview of the folk poem. Now, as you see, the poem is so small and poem is only of 6 lines. And here the poem is, the fog comes on little cat feet. As you know, the fog which come in usually on winter only. Okay, and the fog is compared with the animal, that is cat. And like a cat, the fog comes silently. It sits looking over the harbor, and whenever the fog came, it sits all over the harbor and the city. You know what is the meaning of the harbor? Harbor is the where the ships are parking. I can say like this also, that this where a lot of the water and where the ships doing the transport, doing the lot of the shippings, that is known as the harbor. And the city, over this harbor and the city, the fog sits on silent haunches. Haunches is a position of a cat and then moves on. For some time, for 1 hour, for 2 hours, the fog sits over the harbor and the city then goes silently. Clear? That's it about the poem. Now I will tell you again a little bit summary and a theme as well as the theme of the fog poem. Fog is very short poem by the American poet Carl Sandburg. This is for you. Just when I am speaking, maybe you are not able to write. That's why here is on the screen about a little bit about the summary of a poem. So, 1916 in Sandburg, first major poetry collection, Chicago. Chicago poem is a collection of a poem of a Carl Sandburg, and from there we have taken only one single poem. Okay, and that is fog. In the poem, fog appears settled over an unnamed city and harbor. There no name given into the poem that on which city the fog settled there. Okay, and then simply disappears. I said, then move on means suddenly disappears. The speaker compares this fog to a cat, saying that has little cat feet. Here, on the second line, the poet compared the fog with the cat only and sits on its silent haunches. Haunches is a position of a cat. The extended metaphor comparing the fog to a cat makes nature seem more mysterious and alive. Now, what he's saying like this, that if fog is compared with the cat, then it is a kind of a metaphor into the mind of a lot of the peoples. Overall, the poem is an important example of the memorable, imaginative, and approachable style that earned Carl Sandburg's such popularity and influence during his lifetime and beyond. Up to this, is it clear? Okay, let's move forward. Now, this, if you want to read, you can read, otherwise, this one is important. We can say that this is a theme. From here, this is a theme. Fog is a very short poem that vividly describes the appearance and disappearance of the fog in an unnamed city. First, the appearance of a fog. Then, in the last two lines, he said that the fog disappears without any, we can say, without any information, without any. The speaker compares this fog to a cat that appears on the little cat feet, sit looking over the city on its silent haunches, then finally moves on. And the poem's last line, it is not entirely clear how the speaker feels about the fog, which could be seen as beautiful, omninomous, or a simple fact of the weather in the moment being described. So, fog is a natural thing. We know it. And the speaker didn't say about his point of view about the fog. He tell us only this, that the fog come over the city, over the harbor, and sits like a cat, and then passed away, and then move from somewhere else, or without any information. Regardless, by the memorable expressing the hushed presence of the fog, the poem involves the mystery and magic of nature as whole. Is it clear? The speaker's comparison of fog to a cat, if the question is like this, that do the comparison between fog and cat, then this is a relevant answer to write in your exam, that from the start that the poem isn't just about fog. It's also about nature in a large sense, and the ways one aspect of the natural world reminds the speaker of another. By comparing the fog, which isn't alive, to a cat, which is, means here the fog is non-living and cat is the living. The speaker imbues the fog with a sense of life and agency, making the natural world seem more alert than the people often think it is. The speaker makes sense on a number of levels. Both fog and cat are often silent. Now, this is the second paragraph about the comparison of the fog and the poem. He says like this, that cat is always silent and the fog is also always silent. Both are often quick and appear and disappear as the fog does in the span of the poem's 6 short line. It only contains 6 lines. As the poet's metaphor links the two, the fog seems to take on further cat-like qualities. Since cats are often intensely observant, independent, and aloof, the fog seems in the poem to possess those qualities as well. The comparison makes the fog, which readers might take for granted as an ordinary natural phenomena, seem mysteriously and unknowable. It also suggests a connection between the living and non-living features of the natural world, as well as nature's mysterious power to make lasting impression on the imaginative. The metaphor may even invite readers to view the natural world as truly alive and observant rather than as a possessive and remarkable part of daily life. Now, finally, the poem comparison suggests the value of paying close attention to one's surroundings, especially nature. The mysterious grandeur of the fog's appearance and disappearance promotes the speakers to describe the moment in a vivid, imaginative, metaphorical way. The memorable poem that result suggests the power of being immersed in and open and natural mysterious. So that's it about the poem, but I want to tell you something more. As you know, this poem contains only 6 lines. So, how you are going to write into your exam if the question contains 6 marks? First, you have to tell something about the writer. I told you about it, that about the Carl Sandburg's, that this is a poem taken from the collection of the Chicago poems, and it is published in 1916. Okay, and then you can write like this, that the Carl Sandburg's is an editor also, a famous editor of a newspaper, of a magazine. Okay, you can add 3 to 4 lines about Carl Sandburg's. Then you will write theme, then you will write the message which given into this poem. I told you that all these type of things, because in this link you will find that there is a message, there is a theme, there is a comparison. Okay, and at last I want to say like this, that the poem is all about the comparison between the fog and the cat, and like cat, the fog is also silently come and silently goes away and sits over the harbor and the city. That's it for today. Thank you.